Hello, this is Paul Bo Brookins, and welcome back to How to Play Dwarf Fortress. I'm sorry I haven't gotten to a video in a while. I had a lot of stuff come up in my life, and also I wanted to make this next video a nice fancy year one review, which I made a nice little fancy PowerPoint slideshow. As you can hear from my voice, I got a little bit of head cold, but I've been putting this off too long, so you're gonna have to deal with my scratchy voice. Hopefully here in the next little while I'll be able to also buy a better microphone, and you won't hear those pops and whistles, which I know are kind of annoying. They kind of grind, like they kind of make me cringe a little bit when I hear them. So bear with me. Maybe eventually I'll re-record the audio for these videos, but for now, you know, it's a minor inconvenience, I guess, right? But let's go ahead and get to our year one review of how to play Dwarf Fortress. In this, I set up kind of a summary of all the stuff that you need to make sure you take care of in the first year of your embark. Not necessarily the first year in real life. That would be pretty bad if it took you a year to do all this out of your life. 2013. Do other things other than 1 year of Dwarf Fortress. But yeah, your first year after embarking. So the first thing you're going to want to do is mine out your new entrance, and as you can see, I got a little icon of our miner guy here. That's exciting, right? You start with a defensible position, and you start digging your stairways and hallways and rooms. You can set it up however you like, just make sure it's easy to get around, and there's like a central stairway that makes it easier. In the case of our fort, we had to make 2 stairways because of the dirt situation, because the next thing you're going to want to do is start farming. Right after you start your mining, you're going to want to start your farming. You find an area with soil. Of course, there's different types of soil, and they all have different names, but you'll be able to tell because it's dirt. And you can also look it up on the wiki whether it's soil or not if you're not sure. Peat, sandy loam, those types of things are soil, and you can farm on them. You can set up a farm plot and a kitchen, a still, and farmer's workshop right away, so that you can go ahead and start making food in the kitchen and booze in the still. And you're going to want to start that almost immediately before you run out of your initial stockpile of booze and food, because especially booze, they get really mad if they don't have booze. They get kind of mad if they don't have food, but make sure you have these things set up immediately. Oh yeah, and on the side here I put a little note where to go in my video series to see me doing these things. So I'm going to try to make these clickable, so if you're looking in a browser and not on like a mobile device or something, you'll be able to click these. It'll be a clickable link, so if that's the type of thing you're having a problem with, then go ahead and click those, and you can go to where I talk about these things. So after you get that set up, you're going to want to start production. You cut down some trees and use the masons, carpenters, crafters workshops to make some items, and make a trade depot to trade in. You won't need the trade depot till a little bit later, but you can go ahead and make it. You use stone and wood initially, are basically the 2 ingredients or whatever, the 2 raw materials that you'll use to make your first goods. So your masons and carpenters workshops take care of that. Crafters workshops can also use stone, which you'll have a relative abundance of when you first start out because of digging into stone, making rooms out of stone, out of the stone layers. So you'll end up making a lot of things out of stone. and we go over those in part 7. Then you'll have to dig out a place to store your things, set up some stockpiles, so make some barrels, some rock pots and bins to lessen the amount of space that you actually need to store your items. Set up different stockpiles for different types of items. That helps. Later on we'll go over how to divide them up even more. You can divide up your stockpiles into quality, so like we can go ahead and set up our higher quality goods near to our jeweler's workshop, and then encrust our really nice goods with jewels, so we could sell those at a higher price, or set them up in the nobles' bedrooms or something like that, so that they have a nice fancy room, whatever. But we go over stockpiles in part 9, and we also do it a little bit more in part 12. So then we're going to want to take care of our dwarf's happiness. You're going to set up some bedrooms for them. Here's a nice little picture of a bed. If you can't figure out what that is, that's a bed, I guess. The dwarfs love bedrooms. They hate not having a bedroom, so go ahead and dig them out there in little spaces. A 3x3 space is plenty of room. A lot of people, you could even make it like a 1x3 space, like just space enough for a bed and a container and a door. I like to give them a little bit more room. They are perfectly happy with that space, though. If you want to save space, you can make them a tiny bedroom. But we go over bedrooms and all the stuff to put in the bedrooms in part 10, part 11, and part 12. And then you're going to want a meeting hall, which we didn't actually get to until part 25. So dwarfs are going to want a place to gather and eat and drink. You can make it with tables and chairs and lots of nice things. I like to use statues as my thing, but you can use anything that's like nice. You can make, later on you can make it out of like gold or whatever, so higher the value the better. But you can make weapon racks, you can make armor stands, whatever you want. Just place it in the meeting hall, as long as it's nice, because they're going to be spending a decent amount of time in there. Then you also want to smooth the floors and walls, and also carve them with engravings, which we'll go over in a future video, but that's something you'll want to keep in mind. It raises the value of the room and makes them happier when they're in it. And we go over the meeting hall in part 25. That's when we finally got to it. It took us a while to get to the meeting hall. You'll want to set up your social hierarchy. Nobles, you can set up, I went over nobles in part 14 and showed you all the different types of nobles, but it makes setting up other categories easier. Set them up when you need them and make sure they have what they want, because some nobles will have requirements and some will have demands. Make sure they are happy, because they are more likely to go berserk than other dwarfs, when especially when you start getting higher ranking nobles. Then you'll want to set up the military, get a commander and a captain or two, and set up some lackeys, some in the squads, and get them some combat practice. In year 2 we'll set up some actual barracks for them, and you can see how to train them, and we'll divide it up. Once we have more dwarfs, we'll be able to go over that a little bit better. Yeah, and I wrote that here. Advanced military will be covered in year 2. You don't necessarily need a really fancy military in the first year, because there won't be as many invaders. Invaders are based on the value of your fort, just like migrants are. So in the first little bit you won't be getting very many migrants or invaders, because they won't want the things that you have. Once you have more valuable stuff, they will want it and they will invade. But we go over the military in part 15, and we go over a little bit more in part 24. So if you want to see how to do your military, those are the videos that you want to go to. You want to start your defenses. Start building some walls around your entrances and with paths leading to your depot and your water sources, and later a trap section for invaders, which we went over in part 19. We also started to go over bridges. For entrances, use bridges connected to levers. Later, you can start a path full of traps to catch or maim invaders before they reach your base. And we went over bridges in part 19, how to build them. We went over levers and how to connect them to the bridges in part 23. And we'll go over traps in year 2. How to set up a nice little trap hallway for invaders. You're not going to want to use doors. You think that there is a way to shut doors so that people can't get through, but it ends up being that there are eventually the invaders will bring the capability to break down any types of furniture, which door is considered a furniture. They can break through doors, basically. They can't break through a raised bridge, though. It's considered part of the construction, and it's basically permanent. So you can't, they can't break through that. So you want to use bridges instead of doors for any external entrances into your base. Then eventually you'll want to expand. You want to trade using your depot, and we go over that in part 21 and 22, for raw materials, armor, or anything else you need. And you'll want to expand your growth, manage your population using Dwarf Therapist, and we go over Dwarf Therapist in part 14, and make sure to make new bedrooms and expand food production as your population gets higher. So that's basically all the stuff that you're going to need to focus on in year 1 of Dwarf Fortress when you first start your embark. Hopefully this summary is helpful, and if you kind of know what you're doing, this will show you some of the stuff that you might be missing that you didn't know about. And thanks. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm doing here. We're going to be having a lot of fun in year 2 coming up soon. We're going to probably be actually fighting off some invaders. We'll probably start weapon production and armor production. We'll show you what's underneath the ground. We haven't run into any cave systems or anything. But go ahead and subscribe if you want to see what I'm going to be doing with this series. Later on, I'm actually going to be doing some Let's Plays too, if you like that type of thing. And go ahead and like this video and leave any comments if you have any suggestions, or if you have any ideas. We've had some nice suggestions from some viewers, and some nice discussion in the comments sections. So, but for now, my name's Paul Bo Brookins, and we'll see you next time.